button. Looking for something new in dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, alternative history? They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology. Get the 10-volume box set with 159 stories and full color illustrations plus 34 articles with writings and art tips. Get the UPR on discount, $125 for the entire box set. That's a $60 savings for that beautiful box set. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Go to uprntalkradio.com, click on the link, and place your order. And okay.
Looking for something new in sci-fi or fantasy? Check out what Brandon Sanderson, Orson Scott Card, Nnedi Okorafor, and others chose as the best news stories of the year in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology from 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.
Ron Hubbard Present Writers of the Future. Yes. Okay. How's everybody doing tonight? I know it's been a while since we've been live on UFO Undercover. Jay's with me tonight. Well, there's been a lot of shows. Well, there's been some really good shows playing over the last 2 months, but just none of them were live. I know for a lot of people who wrote to me and said, why weren't you answering questions? Because they weren't live.
It was a repeat.
And some of the audio is really good. You can't tell it's a repeat. And some of it is older, and you can hear the, before we were on this smooth inside the computer systems that really doesn't have anywhere to pick up any weird sounds or shh and stuff like that that's picking up from the air around you. Well, FM and AM's a bitch, people. It is much more delicate than people realize. I mean, really and truly. It's not for you really got to have your shit together if you really want to be putting a good performance out every week or every day for that matter. Well, there's a lot. You see people tell me all the time, well, podcasters have a lot of problems. Well, you know what? AM and FM have a lot of problems too. I hate to be the one to break y'all's heart on this. Our stations go down regularly. They have crackling problems, whistling problems, weird problems. Not so much for the FM music is this, more for the talk than the music, because music, for some reason, you just don't really notice it, even though you know what's going on. For some reason, you don't notice. On the talk, you really do, because it's usually writing something you want to hear. You're like, wait, what? Oh, come on, bleep.
If you have bad weather, you get bad reception.
Yeah.
No, radio is hard.
Marcus, anybody out there, y'all should pop in. We're trying to get y'all to get into one of the YouTube chat rooms, UFO Paranormal Radio, or what's the other one? Gods, Extraterrestrials, and Crazy People. No, that's not the actual name.
That describes all of us.
Oh, man, it's something like that. I know it's sad. I don't know my own names and my own stations. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody's going to enjoy tonight. So we're gonna cross a lot of topics tonight. Being that we're back, of course, we're going to address the Congress shit. The Congress stuff. Beep beep. You can tell I've been on that lately. Jay's bad on Friday nights. He brings out the badness. And God and Jack. Oh man, you see, y'all missing out. Friday night right now we're getting Triple J's, and it's trouble on Friday night. They're bad. They're a bad influence on me, people. Oh yes. I'm all peace, love, and light and stuff.
It's because we're bachelors.
That's right. We're talking about news on the flip side on Friday night. Actually, when Jay's on, he's usually doing 4 hours. Not always, but usually, because he's on Church of Mavis with Uncle Pritchard. Yes, Uncle Pritchard.
Yep.
The Pritchard mind. But anyway, we got a lot of stuff we want to talk about.
4 hours with Joe.
So we're going to start out, before I put this first article up, we're going to start out with one of my favorite people, Elon effing Musk. Yes.
Oh, yeah, your boyfriend. Okay. Yeah.
So Elon, yes, I do have a personal man crush. If he was a female, I'd be like, baby, I'm sorry, but I'm moving to where the hell is lives at. And he's because there's a certain thing about Elon that a lot of y'all aren't catching. One, he's brilliant, but it's not that he's so much that he's brilliant. He's really good at figuring out problems, and if he can't figure it out, he's really good at finding people who can figure it out. Now, yeah. So most people don't realize this, but on almost all of SpaceX stuff, not so much Tesla, but on all of SpaceX and a couple of his other projects, he's got his hands on them. He's in the middle of the science with the scientists. Tesla's not as much, because Tesla was kind of an established deal when it started. and it's just a matter of rolling on. But
And he was kind of a side partner there anyway. He didn't start Tesla.
No, he didn't start Tesla. He bought it. He somehow he ended up with control of Tesla because again, he's smart. And now sometimes his smartness don't show like it should, like the way he bought Twitter. He did this for us, by the way. He wasted $40 billion. Yeah, 40 billion. He wasted it so that you and I and other people could know what the government was actually doing.
What kind of crap was coming across
Facebook
Twitter.
and then wouldn't fess up. So he bought it and released it. Yeah. Of course it hurt his company. It hurt his other company too, but he didn't even bitch.
Hurt his wallet too. I mean, 40 billion.
Well, think about it. It was more than 40 because Tesla dropped 100 billion. So he went from first all the way to like sixth.
Seventh or eighth. Yeah.
It was bad. He's back at first now. Him and the other guy is not from America. The three people battling for first right now. Two are from America. It's Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Carlos.
An Arab dude, didn't he?
No, I don't think he's Arab.
Arab or Audi.
No, actually, Arabs don't seem to make the list all that much. It's like, believe it or not, South American people or maybe Central American or maybe North American. Yeah. But what's that? I want to say it's Carlos. I just read this the other day when we were doing this news Friday night. I actually read it. But anyway, we'll get into that later on. So Elon's out here. Okay, he's serious about Mars now. So, most people know he's building the spaceship to go to Mars. People don't realize, though, he's also building the lunar lander for the spaceship Artemis, which is the NASA's one going back to the moon. He also helped NASA design 27 houses, which are supposed to be built in the next 5 years on the moon for people to start living there. So they're going to need, of course, scientists who are going to be doing whatever they're going to be doing while they're living there. But they're going to need electricians and janitors and plumbers and
tradesmen.
That's right. And this is one thing about the tradesmen, guys. Y'all will always have a job. Whatever we do, however we do it in space, you will always be needed. Because I hate to say this, I've watched PhDs try to fix a toilet and just and it ain't rocket science either, people. But still,
it's not.
It's not rocket science. But the point is he just has a knack of getting things done. So they're talking about that. He's talking about what's going on Mars. Now, remember, people think Elon's younger than he is because he's had a little work. He's 52, if I remember.
Yeah, he's in his 50s. And I mean, he looks like he's in his late 30s, early 40s. But yeah, money will prolong your life. I mean, look at Bill Shatner. He's pushing 90. Well,
I think for Elon's case,
he looks like he's in his 60s.
It's for dating them goth chicks that drink blood. So that's probably what happened to Elon. But no, I'm just kidding, people. Anyway,
you could also be drinking the blood of sacrificial virgins as well. You never know.
Yes, you never know. But and some of these really, really rich people might have access to stuff we don't know about. So
yeah, they definitely. Just the plain fact of the money that they have is just pure access to daily medical care, which would be enough to like at least prolong your life 20, 30 years.
Yeah, they asked William the other day about why do you think you live so long? He said, because I don't want to die and I got things I want to do and I like to work. And he stays healthy. Well, if you can keep the stress off your life, you've probably added 20 years to your life. But that's for another show. That's not for this one. That's for a whole other show.
If you can get through life without getting into booze or drugs as well, that'll definitely prolong your life.
Yes, drugs, sex, drugs, and alcohol. Pick your poison. But anyway, getting back to Elon, because I'm sure he's done those three things that we've just talked about. So, he's building. So his goal is, in case y'all didn't know this, to put 42,000 Earthlink satellites into orbit. So these things all link together. I forgot what they call them, but they link in the groups and they link together. And they cover the whole entire planet. So Elon, because he thinks about you and I, and he don't want you to have to see these other things, he paints the one side black so you never notice it when it's in the sky. You can't see it. And whereas other satellites don't even bother, they're all shining and sparkling. And
you can see, in certain areas, you can see a satellite fly over.
And now he's designing them to be, instead of like this. So there's hardly any surface to see. So he's thinking about it. But y'all don't understand. This is just a test. This is the future internet of Mars. He's already starting to shelf some to go to Mars. So when they start shipping stuff to Mars, he's going to be shipping Earthlings there. Probably with less than 3 or 4 years, there'll be 5,000 or 6,000 of them floating around in the skies up there. That's a lot. to Earthlink, and then give him 5 years, you'll have the whole Mars covered in Earthlink satellites. So Mars is coming alive, people. As long as we don't blow ourselves up off the planet, he's bringing Mars alive.
Keep Biden's finger off that red button.
Now, so let's get to the evil part of Elon Musk. So now we know all this is going on. He's got all these great things on. He's got the little thing in your brain so you can work your car, you can fly, everything, you can do whatever you want. Never have to use a finger again because the little device in your brain will work everything for you. And it'll get you instant information. Sounds like Marty McFly, man. But anyway, so he's got all this going on. So now, at 70, he's going to move to Mars. And he's going to be living on Mars. And then all of a sudden, one afternoon, all the Earthlink satellites around Earth, all 42,000, are going to open up. And
you burn the planet to.
There won't be no more Earth. I mean, there won't be no more humans left. And this will just be the big zoo and let it recover for 10,000 years as they terraform Mars and have 2 worlds. Oh, no, whoever wrote me that. No, I'm teasing. As far as I know, but for some reason, and I say this a lot, for some reason, he gives me the feel of the guy from Moonraker, the evil guy
Drax.
from Moonraker. Yeah. He's all brilliant and genius, and he's changing the world and saving things and helping things. And then one day, oh, guess what? You're all dead now. And we're going to start our own world. You think about it. And y'all think I'm joking. He's already got 10 kids. He's planning on having 10 more.
Yeah.
He's got his own progeny to go forth with.
He's building his own army, one child at a time.
As far as I know, only one of his kids don't like him. Yeah, we're not going to get into why. That's for another show as well. But anyway, so you have this great man out there who is really, truly trying to change the world for the better and for us. I can't get past the point that he's actually doing it for us. Somebody said, well, Steve Jobs was like that. Well, Steve Jobs was kind of like that, really. He wanted to change the world for us, but he had a little bit different goals. Actually, Bill Gates was like that in the beginning. He wanted to change the world for the better, but then he got what most people get is effing greedy. And of course, now he's in India, doing eugenics. That's another show in itself. That's like 5 shows now we've come up with just sitting here. But it is important to know that there are men like Elon and Jeff Bezos and a few others out there that are really trying to make the difference. And I watched a show on rocketry the other day. So get this. Y'all going to love this. 90% of all the companies building rockets today around the world are all Eli alumnus. They all came from SpaceX. The 4 biggest ones in the world, with the exception of Jeff Bezos and Virgin, are all Eli alumnus. They all came from SpaceX. That just tells you he's changing the world. He's not even trying to change it. He's changing the world. It amazes me some of the stuff this guy's doing. He does worry me, though. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, things like putting chips in your brains and, covering the Earth and satellites always bothers me just a little bit. I mean, I don't know what's on them satellites. There could be lasers. There could be some little poison. This could be Andromeda strain as far as we know. Well, yeah, a lot of people, you chose kidding. Well, yeah, I am kidding, but you never know when I'm not. I mean, come on, look what's going on in Israel right now. 2 days ago, everybody all happy, and whoosh, people and babies getting their heads chopped off. So, I mean, it just tells you that you never know what's going to happen the next day. Even the greatest people in the world didn't even predict this. Even the greatest militaries didn't know this was going to happen, and it did. So don't be surprised when other stuff happens. No, we're going to actually talk about Dr. Greer in just a little while. First off, though, we're going to start out with this link right here. Now, there's a few of these floating around now. Let me see if I can straighten it out for y'all a little bit. Dun, 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 dun.
Proof of alien existence so far. Oh, what's that? Oxygen?
So I know it is that. So anyway, I don't know why y'all not seeing it, but let me see if I can boost it up on here. So I don't know. I guess it's not going to let me. Anyway, NASA has just discovered the strongest proof of alien existence so far. So recently, and it's probably been more than recently, but recently, because we're going to give NASA the benefit of the doubt here. NASA has been really lucky in finding stuff with the James Webb Telescope. Even Hubble's recently found stuff. Some of the probes recently suggested that there's life on Mars, Europa, Titan, maybe even Venus. So, yeah, they think there might be something alive in the atmosphere of Venus. And I use the
Venus
word
Venus is a bit closer than the other 3. I don't know about Titan. The other 3 moons that might have life on them are Enceladus on Saturn, Europa and Io on Jupiter, possibly Mars. Well, I think we know for a fact Mars had life. They've discovered that.
Well, we're pretty sure now that there's life now on Mars. Now, life on Mars now, but what it's going to be is seems to be the argument. So the old argument was, was there life on Mars? And it seems like yes, there was. And the new argument is, and kind of always has been, can there be life on Mars now? And if there is, what is it? Well, half the people are going to argue against it totally. No, there's no life on Mars. There can't be life on Mars. I don't know why scientists forget about subsurface climates. It bothers me sometimes because we get some brilliant people on this planet, and yet they don't think that a cavern under the ground with water that has a maybe a spring fed or something just water there. Something's growing in there. It's going to create methane. It's going to create oxygen. It's going to create life. Now, what it's going to be and how long, it could be anything. It could be a plant, it could be a mouse, it could be any damn thing because we don't know what it's going to be. Because remember, when you actually see anything that evolved on Mars, it's not going to look like something that evolved here. I mean, Mars is 1/6 Earth's gravity. No, it's 1/3 Earth's gravity.
1/3 Earth's gravity.
Yeah, 1/3. So that means your body parts are going to be different. You're probably going to be taller, skinnier, linkier. You're not going to probably know what stairs are because you're not going to really need them. You'll be able to reach out and just pull yourself up or just jump up. So the types of animals here will look different. Birds would need wings in the way we think of wings. So it's all that has to be taken into consideration when we're looking for life. Because, a lot of scientists just want to look for life here. And the reason they said Titan, by the way, why is my phone buzzing? They said Titan because it's got so much volcanic stuff on it. They're pretty sure they're going to find the same type of microbes and stuff that they find like around black smokers and volcanoes and stuff. That's microbiological life. Sorry, guys. Yeah, they're talking about teensy little things. Stuff you would find around like Old Smoky and places. Not Old Smoky. The geyser. What's the damn name of the damn geyser? I don't forget the name of the geyser. Old Faithful. All around Old Faithful, there's life all around it. Yeah. Well, recently, and I'll tell you what did this, the non-planet Pluto did this. So Pluto made them have to rethink everything and how because they think Pluto's got an active system on it. There may be life on Pluto.
They think there's at least plate tectonics anyway. Yeah.
And there might even be life on Charon. It's just, they've realized that this thing's got fresh water on it. It has movement. It may be considered a planetoid, but it's turning out to be more of a planet than Mars or Venus. So it was just surprising to find it way out there on the end of the solar system. Well, not the end, 2/3 of the way of the solar system. And it's just not what we thought. Everybody said the same thing. Everybody. What did they say? What did they say? It's going to be a frozen ball. Just like a rock, just frozen rock. And it was
apparently has enough internal heat to have whatever surface features there are there moving.
Yeah, well, you got to think it's Charon's pulling on it. And then what is it, Neptune or Uranus? One of them also has gravitational pull on it. So it's probably
both. They're so big versus how small Pluto is. They probably
that's true. They are, and they're out there. So well, people, you don't see, that's why they think a lot of the moons are going to turn out to be. Remember, and I know people don't realize this, but Jupiter and Saturn have a buttload of moons. No, I mean a buttload, over 100.
So Saturn has like 83 moons. Jupiter has 62 moons. I think Neptune has 17 or 20, and Uranus, I'm not sure, but they're up in the teens, 20s, 30s, something like that.
It's just the amount of moons is outrageous. So the odds of finding life on these moons go way, way up. And we've only really ever looked at 5 or 6 of them that we considered good. Now there may even be a few more that we made. And then there's the Oort cloud. We don't know what we're going to find in the Oort cloud.
A whole bunch of Oorts.
Yeah, well, everything out there should be just big frozen balls floating around in space, but all of a sudden, so is Pluto. So we have to think that we could be wrong. Now, the Oort cloud's way out there on the edge of the solar system.
Yeah, that's considered the very boundary in the beginning of and or end of our solar system, depending on which way you're heading into.
Yes, Harry, that is where Planet X lives. Yeah, look, I'm all for it. Look, prove it to me, I'll be good to go.
They know it's out there. They know there's something big out there tugging on Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn. They know it's out there. They just don't know where. It's in a Lagrange point where it can't be seen.
I don't know. People know Jay's talking about a planet being out there. You're talking about Planet X, which is, every 3,600 years the aliens come by and visit. No,
Yeah.
we're not going there.
Nibiru, I don't know about that, but
Yeah,
there is a large spatial body between the Oort cloud and Pluto that's dragging on Pluto and Neptune and other small bodies out there. We don't know what it is. It's probably a planet, but it's in such a Lagrange point that you can't see it with any of our scopes or devices yet.
Yeah, if they ever get an idea where it is, they'll send a probe out to look for it, but they don't really have any idea where it is right now. Well, there's nothing against it. There's no sunlight or any reflections to find it by. We just know by the gravity that something's out there. And it could be a big field of asteroids clustered up together. That is true. It could be. But more than likely, it's a decent-sized planet. We're going to find out one of these days.
Yeah, whatever it is, it has its own gravity well.
Yeah, we'll find out. No, but you're talking about Nibiru. Nibiru, first off, real quick. So Nibiru, which, was supposed to come by every 3,600 years. First off, it's 5 times the size of Earth. If it even got close to us, it would crush us. We would be like that asteroid belt in between Mars and Jupiter, which is planet 10 or planet Nibiru. It probably was.
It probably was planet Nibiru.
Yeah, it probably got caught one time coming through by Mars and by Jupiter and got crushed. I wouldn't even rule out. But the real problem for y'all, all your arguments is I don't want to be the ones that break your heart, but the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incans, even the Toltecs were great astronomers. And you know what? So were the Chinese and the Egyptians. And they chart no planet in the sky in the last 5,000 years that comes to Nibiru. Now, the Sumerians talk about this earthly body about the size of the moon that came close to Earth and parked and was wreaking all kind of havocs on the oceans and the tides. Why the aliens built their colony here, their 2 great dome cities, and then left. Yeah, well, I don't know if that's true either. I wasn't here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to be able to say, oh, yeah. Well, no, there's a lot of stuff that leads back to them 2 great white dome cities. It was human type aliens they talk about, and the Sumerians talk about them. And then the Dogon talk about the reptilians that used to go down there and steal the Sumerian women and rape them and bring them back pregnant. And the children that were pregnant, the women was pregnant, but children were different when they were born. We all thought they looked different, but when you worked it out, it was that they acted differently. They became self-aware. The first race of humans was not self-aware in the way we are. They didn't challenge their master. They didn't say why. They really did things like procreate, eat crap, pretty much like a cow for the most part.
Well, according to some of the legends, though, the Sumerian legends, the Anunnaki at first, there were several experiments, like 3 or 4 or 5 different.
Oh yeah, the 7 creations of man is what they call it.
In the first couple attempts, they weren't the slave labor force was not permitted to procreate on their own. They were basically neuter. They didn't have they were male and female, but they didn't have the gene pool to make children. And then they realized that the tasks were so hard for these laborers, even though they were designed on this planet, that they were losing workers faster than they could replace them. So then they went and they created what is us, called in the Sumerian word Adamu, meaning the first ones who could breed on their own, so that the Anunnaki weren't constantly repairing and replacing their clones and other things that were just not. They weren't doing the task fast enough, and they were losing workers faster than replacing them. So
that's what they talk about when you get into it. The first Sumerian of us is not our direct descendants. They didn't have a reptilian section in their brain. We do. So it shows you. So the Sumerians talk about this in great detail. They talk about the 7 creations of man with the race that he was talking about. The 7th race were humans. And they were our ancestors or descendants, but they were altered before they became us. So the reptilians, somewhere along the line, when all this was going on, started stealing their people. The children were born. They had a reptilian section in their brain. They became not violent. They became self-aware to what was going on. They were no longer going to be a slave race. That was it for them, and Sumeria fell. It's pretty well documented, actually. So
there's also some fascinating stuff about their astronomy work too. In that same time frame. We all know the biblical story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Well, we haven't found those cities. We think we have found a similar site with these 3 cities, and one of the cities I believe is called Zoar. But in any event, there's this clay tablet written in Sumerian cuneiform that describes this body of fire flying through. It flies across the skies over Europe, makes a mad dash towards the Middle East, across the Mediterranean, and then lands on top of these 3 cities and destroys them. And it was actually described as an airburst, this meteorite on this clay tablet. And current thinking and current science points to the fact that these 3 cities that were destroyed probably were the biblical Sodom and Gomorrah, and there was one other city that was destroyed, but it's not written in the Bible.
Well, there seemed to be a lot of that going on. I mean, they're just seeing, I mean, and there was so many stories. I mean, you had the Sumerians talking about the human type aliens. You had the Dogon talking about the reptilian type aliens. The Greys were nowhere to be seen at this time, by the way. Mm-hmm. They didn't come until later. And the problem with all these dates was it 6,000 years ago, or was it 60,000 years ago?
Or 16.
Or 16. Yeah, we know, thanks to the Dogon, to the Egyptians, we do know that something happened. Well, it's not just the Egyptians, but thanks to the 7 wonders of man, we know something happened around 12,500 years ago. So, and the reason I say this is, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to go through this real fast because I don't want to waste y'all's time too much. But the 3 pyramids of Giza only line up with Orion at 12,500 BC. That's where you got to go back.
10,500 BCE.
Yeah. Was 12,500 years ago. So yeah, right. 10,500 BC. Yeah. So yeah, because we're 2000 AD. So no, you're right. 10,000. Jay's right. 10,000 is 12,500 years ago. So 10,500 BC, because we're 2000 AD now. So yeah, we gotta go backwards on one and plus on the other. Yeah. But anyway.
Robert Bovall, who did some of the and Dr. West, who did some of the preliminary work on that area. They both speculate that somewhere between like May, June, or June, July, somewhere between those 3 months, you would see, if you were standing behind the pyramids looking towards the east as the sun rises, before the sun comes up, you would see the 3 belt stars come up over the horizon and sit right on top of each pyramid. And then an hour or so later, as the sky opens up, the constellation Leo would come up over the rise and would be like a line sitting looking at the other line, the Sphinx, eye to eye contact. And they think this occurred 10,500 BC, somewhere between May and July. That is some astonishing mathematical work right there.
And it also helps give the argument that the Sphinx was built before the rise of the Egyptian Empire. 12,000 years ago, people, that's a long, 12,500 years ago is a long time.
Look at the ass end of the Sphinx. There's 10, 15, 20,000 years worth of water erosion where you can see the water, and then it went to another level and it ate away, and then it went to another level and ate away.
And for another one for y'all, since we're talking 12,500 years ago, 10,500 BCE, actually, that was actually the end of the last ice age. That's when it ended. And so you had a lot of stuff going on at this particular time frame. But we've got all these monuments around the world. So like I said, so we got the pyramids of Giza lining up at this time. The lion lines up with Leo at this time. The city of Angkor Wat lines up with Draco at this time. The 7 Sisters line up with Easter Island at this time. And I forgot the one that lines up with the Stonehenge. Anyway, there's 7 of them all together that line up with their constellations only at this time, at this date. Yeah. So something.
And one of those constellations would be the snake, Ophiuchus. We don't have that in our current Aquarius age.
So we had things. Somebody, now think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody built things 6,000 and 7,000 years after this and lined it up perfectly with this date. Now I do believe Leo was there. I mean, not Leo. I do believe the Sphinx was actually there at that time period. Who it belonged to, what regime it was.
What I think the original face was.
Yeah, when the Egyptians took it over, they just used it as their own. But
somebody modified the head at least, and some of the speculation on what the original head was. A lot of people have always assumed that it was a lion, but if you look at the back paws of the Sphinx, they're much longer than a lion's paws, and more like a dog. So they're thinking that maybe the original head was a jackal.
Maybe
But
it
we
was.
it's just speculation at this point.
You just don't know. But the thing of this is, people, is we've got hardcore evidence of several civilizations building monuments to things that didn't exist when they rose.
Yeah,
You got to explain what they were pointing. They were pointing to something.
Like when Boval and West and Dr. Shock came out with that stuff about the pyramid 10,500 BCE, they said, "Oh, well, no, they did it on purpose, but they didn't build it back then." Now, why the hell would you build a monument in like 2000 BCE? Why would you build a monument to Leo to look at the constellation Leo 8,000 years ago? Then how are you going to calculate that where it would look at that? It's impossible to suggest that the Sphinx was built after 10,500 BCE, because you don't build something and then hopefully when you learn how to make computers 500 years in the future, you can go back and go, oh look, we made it right. Our Sphinx would look at the constellation Leo. It was
no, they knew what the hell they were doing. Yeah, no, they knew what the hell they were doing.
Specifically for that event, for those two things to line up in the sky. There's a purpose. There's a reason. We don't know what it is.
Well, there's been so many things in our existence that set us back. The burning of Alexandria, losing the library set us back 2,000 years. I mean, there were things in there that supposedly the way the light systems worked and the pyramids was actually in the pyramid. I mean, in Alexandria, the way they made gold back then, because they knew how to electroplate gold, by the way. The way Roman concrete was made, which they think
when they built the concrete.
Yeah, they think fire. They know how it was made now. They just don't know the ratios, but they do actually know what was actually in it now. So something they found recently.
The concrete is used in the aqueducts is what we call
still
today
there,
Portland.
Years. Yeah.
It's very similar to Portland, but they don't know the exact formula.
Yeah, we have no concrete today that lasts 2,000 years, but yet there's a still. Matter of fact, not only is it over 2,000 years old, it's still being used in some places.
70% of the viaducts, that the water aqueducts in Italy, are still currently bringing fresh, potable water to modern 21st century homes and cities.
You gotta love it. You gotta love the Romans, man.
So some of the roads are still, the Appian Way is still, I mean, it's a historical road. I don't think you can drive cars on it, but you can, take historical walks and tours up and down it. That thing when was that built? 4 AD?
Yeah, see, that's what we're talking about, Christopher. So for some reason, our ancestors built monuments to this particular date. So what was it? So we do know the Ice Age was ending at that time. There was still a lot of ice, and the oceans were lower. By about a foot, I think they said, maybe 2, which makes a difference in certain places like
Bimini Road. 3 feet for the most part, but you got to realize that there was so much ice that the Ice Age began ending in 12,500, but it took another 2,000 years for all that ice to melt and recede back to the pole. So it's not like turning a light on and off. It wasn't cold and then hot. It was. No,
it had probably been on its way for 10,000 years on it's just a little bit at a time. Well, people, so if they're currently right and we're going into a global warming, that's going to trigger an ice age. Global warming always triggers an ice age. It's just one of those things. They don't know why, but they know for the last two ice ages, global warming preceded. And remember, there was no humans on the planet for the last 2 ice ages, but yet there was global warming. Just thought you should know that.
We didn't create it. We're not the cause of it. We're not making it any worse than it already is. Cows aren't contributing any worse to it than everyone thinks they are. And number 5, the thing is, it's a natural byproduct of our planet's atmosphere. And if we as humans go tampering with that and try to stop it or make it better, we could wind up killing ourselves. So I'm all against climate control. I don't even want to go after it. Yeah,
and here's one of those cautionary tales for you. I think it was about 75 years ago. The Emperor of China ordered all the not sparrows. Yeah, I think they were sparrows. All of them ordered them all killed because they were eating grain. So he had them all killed. Well, come to find out, the next year they had been eating locusts and other bugs that kept them from rotting the crops. So because of this thing of killing all of these birds. It ended up killing over 75 million Chinese from starvation. Cautionary tale, people. You maybe shouldn't screw with Mother Nature. She might know a little bit more about what's going on than we do. It was mockingbirds. That's what it was. It wasn't sparrows. Took me a minute to remember what it was, but Well, you can
Still,
look the
though,
story up for yourself, people. You don't have to take my word for it. There's nothing we're going to talk about in the show that you can't go verify somewhere.
yeah.
It's. But right now we're going to show you. Well, I want to get into the Greer things. We're going to play Greer in a minute, but first we're going to go through these right quick. So let's pop this up. This was just released by Uncle Sam. These are 30 of them, the ones he released. So there you go. UFO sighting reported skyrocket over 360 since 2021, 360. So this was all just declassified. There's another set besides this, but I don't have time to get to it. So there you go. This one looks like one of the ones I have on my let's see.
It looks like the one on the picture behind this.
I know. I was thinking I might make a banner out of this. Let's see what else they got. Oh, look, there you go. Little sports model.
There's Bob Lazar's sports model. Yeah.
U.S. National Intelligence Office. I don't know. That's just the ones I was looking for.
I'm gonna have to build that one for you. I have that model upstairs unbuilt.
Those are cool. This must not be the one I was looking for because these were released photos. This just looks like renderings.
Yeah, that's digital. Come on.
Yeah, these are renderings. So there's no doubt about what these are. Out there hanging out. I don't know who that is. Hey, that ain't the guy I thought it was. I thought that was the guy from The Expanse for a minute.
That's like one of those televangelists.
And the guy that says, I'm that guy.
Hey, look, there's the play button on someone's VCR.
I know. Oh, there we go. Some TikTok.
There we go. There's the stuff from ATIP.
TikTok video. I'm sorry. Boring people. More boring people. She's boring just because she's on the list. This guy looks. I'm not gonna say what he looks like. He looks like he's having a stroke, man.
Or he's constipated, maybe.
All right. Well, this ain't the one we were looking for, so we have to go find the other one.
There's the sports modeling in. Yay.
Oh, wait. Here we go. This might be them. So, anyway, there's supposed to be several of them in here that were just released, unless I got the wrong list, which I might have. But let's see. This is the one. When was this taken? I remember this picture.
50s.
Who was it that took this? The guy is pretty famous. I mean, he's pretty famous now for taking the picture, but let's see. There you go on that one.
This might be that one series of 3.
Yeah. Now these pictures, I'm releasing right here. These are actual classified pictures that the government had. That's what these are. So these are supposed to be legit real. It's hard to judge distance or size from here. I mean, you can see down here, and you can see this waterway and these trees, but you really don't know, how big this waterway is. You can see the road right here. So you should get some, because you figure the road's going to be at least 10 foot wide. And but still, it's going to be hard to get any real. You'd have to put it on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And here you go. Now this one's a little different because there's a tree line right there.
Yeah, in a city. This looks a little more modern. It's in black and white though.
It's when was
is
it
that
taken?
a still from a film though? Look at those streaks.
Yeah, I think
film.
it is. It says according to information published by the BBC News, out of 400 UFOs related incidents. So, I guess the BBC got this. This is definitely film streaks. I ain't no doubt what that is. And these black dots are just, when the film starts going bad, that's what that is. Well, at least somebody got a picture before. At least somebody got a picture before it went bad.
Mm-hmm.
You mean right there, Jack? I'm assuming it's a cloud.
It
does look like a UFO, but I'm pretty sure it's a cloud. I don't want to give it any credit where credit ain't due. Let's get that off of there. Okay. No, we don't care about all of that. Get out of there. Whoa, what? Where they got this alien at? Area 51.
That's some compelling evidence right there.
Yes, aliens are giving you the bird, man.
Which is kind of hard because they only have 3 fingers on their hand there.
Jimmy, I know what movie you're talking about where the aliens are putting the space cocaine out with the machine. That's oh man, what's the music one? God, it's right out of my head. Oh Lord, it's damn. I don't know why I can't. It's all you play rock and roll through the whole movie. There's 2 of them.
Why is Ron Jeremy in the picture?
He's in there.
It sure looks like him, doesn't it?
All right, there we go. I've been to Area 51, people. Yeah, it's see, a lot of this stuff is all fine and dandy. They're out there making money, which I'm not really hating on them for making money, but as far as real research, I haven't seen any.
Yeah, show
what do you
stack.
mean? Who told you? Who told you I've been to Area 51? Who told you that? I'll have to have you killed, right? Probably everybody listening will probably have to be hit off tonight. They'll just do a button at the end and wipe everybody's memory, but still. And you better be careful playing around with that stuff. No,
our friends from far away can wipe your brain away.
I have never been to Area 51. Yeah, okay. Anyway, 52 and 53, that could be different, because Linda was crazy. She'd drive on any base. Oh, yes. No problem whatsoever. Oh, yeah. I don't see no. Oh, here comes another one. So they just mixed in this with other crap.
That's a Billy Meyer photo, I think.
It does kind of look like it. That looks like two hubcaps put together and tossed up in the air.
Yeah.
Well, that looks like a Chrysler hubcap up here. This looks like a Ford hubcap down here.
Yeah.
Or maybe a Volkswagen hubcap from the old days.
Yeah. Those big Beetle Dome things.
It's well, no, you can see what it says. It's just these are photos that finally the government, released. Like they've been floating around for years anyway. I don't know why the government kept them, but a lot of stuff the government gets released. A lot of stuff they keep doesn't ever get released. It's not as big as a sieve as everybody think it is.
Is that Gerald Ford? It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Right there. Was this when they put all the colors out to track down the UFOs? So in the 70s, I remember this as a kid, they they put a bunch of pink and green and blue clouds in the skies to try to attract extraterrestrials.
Unless there was a nuclear weapon or nuclear fissionable material up there, they're not coming.
When it was right after the Pascagoula sighting is when it was.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm a member of Space Command. Where are you getting this stuff from? I couldn't tell you if I was, could I? But I can deny that. Yes, I'm not a member of Space Command. I'm not a Space
Plausible
Cadet.
deniability.
John and Emily are Space Cadets, though. Yes, they are.
Yeah. Hi, John, if you're listening.
It's I'm not though. No. I met the generals of Space Command. John Goodwin introduced me to them. But it's not all alien conspiracy if that's what y'all are after.
No, of course, there's no conspiracy. They're working directly with the aliens. They just can't tell you about it.
Well, Emily is an alien, in case y'all didn't know that. Thank God she's not listening tonight. Alien. Oh, no, actually, my friend John's headed out of town this Sunday. He will be...
This Sunday, going to Germany, Frankfurt, Germany.
For a week, and then over to the UK for a week.
I'll tell you this much, and if he's listening, maybe he'll take this idea up as well. But if I was going to Frankfurt, Germany, and I had some free time, the first thing I'd do is a bar crawl and try a different hot dog in every bar I go to. One beer, one hot dog, every bar. Yummy, yummy.
Yeah. No, he's got to work, man.
I know. He's
well, no, guys, he's there working. He's president of Galaxy Press. He's actually there working. It's who? Oh wait, we'll put this on in a second. I got to see how long it is first. This one, okay. This is 6/12 of 23. It is 2 minutes and 21 seconds long. So this isn't the one I was looking for, but we will play this one. So is everyone ready? Drum roll, please. Dun 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 dun. Now, if I lose my mind after listening to this guy, y'all just got to deal with it. All right. So here we go. I'm just warning you ahead of time. Wrong button.
Yeah, nothing's happening.
Okay, we've got to stop for a minute, especially since he quoted Vernon von Braun. One, Vernon also said it's quite possible that they could be hostile.
Joe, I didn't hear anything. Nothing came over on the program program side of things.
Well, let's go see what's going on here. So let's see. We should have been progressing.
You need to share it onto the screen first, I think.
Oh, it should be up on the screen. What's going on? Let's remove it. Make sure we got the right thing. I don't think we got the right thing. That might be what the problem is. Let's see. Stop screen. Find a different screen. Sorry, guys. I thought I had the right screen up there. Well, we're working with a lot of screens. Well, we got a lot of screens up tonight. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. Okay. Yeah. So if anybody else has got the one, I'm looking for the other one. I was listening to. I had a good friend of mine looking for it too, and I may have it because she sent me a bunch of stuff. So, but anyway, let us go ahead and put this up. And thank you, Miss M, for contributing in these videos.
Two-part
You hear
question.
it?
The first one being,
Yeah.
is there no hostility from another species because there's a higher governing species, or is it just the fact that there is no hostility whatsoever? How can we be sure of that? First question.
Everybody who I know who has dealt directly with those beings have told me our own experience, and that is they are completely non-hostile. They have been portrayed as so.
Okay. Greer, you ever heard of an alien abduction? You ever heard of that? When they come in and take you from your house, drag you out, kicking and screaming. That would be
Against your
considered.
will.
That's considered hostile. And since there's more than one alien race that's visiting here, and we know both humans, reptilians, and greys can be hostile, you have to wonder. You're getting. See, I always thought Greer might have been a plant because a lot of times he's just putting out bogus information. But anyway, let's move on. Let's let the man have his time.
Such, because how do you unite the world around a military response? You create a false alien threat. This is what Werner von Braun warned about, and we are very much at that point, unfortunately.
Real quick, Werner von Braun also said that it could aliens could quite possibly be hostile.
So I think that
And he would know.
Need to prevail, but there is no evidence they are hostile. Now, let me make one other point. As I said one time to a general, I won't say who it is, because if they were hostile and given the galactically foolish things we have done, targeting them, striking them, now these systems that are faster than speed of light, moving into space, the technologies they have in a fraction of a second could shut down all those systems and everything else. They have not. Why have they not done that? Because they are essentially very.
Okay, stop. I guess he forgot.
That.
I guess he forgot about when they shut all the damn nuclear bases down.
Was it Malmstrom is one of them? What was the other one?
There's a couple of them. They just hovered over, shut the bases down, threw everybody off. I guess he forgot all about that. It's not just that, people. They've been known to shut down boats, carriers. There's at least 3 stories of big Navy ships when one come over, just the ship would go dead, including the USS Nimitz. I mean,
they shot down planes. They shot down an F-89 Saberjet over the middle of the United States, killing the pilot in like the 50s or early 60s. There's the battle of the last battle of World War II, Operation High Jump, with Admiral Byrd and his flotilla of Navy ships who were attacked by unknown flying objects that cut their ships in half and burned. And
let's not forget the Battle of Los Angeles.
There's the Battle of Los Angeles where we think we blew up a UFO, but we can never find it.
So again, but there was actually a battle going on. Lots of people saw it. There was lots of people who saw the UFO, and lots of people saw
1945, the Battle of Los Angeles.
Yeah,
I think.
They thought at first it was some kind of Japanese thing, and then they realized it wasn't, and they went after it. And let me tell you what, there was lots of witnesses to this. So, Greer, obviously you're wrong again. See, this makes me feel like he's a plant.
And his other statement about them not being hostile. Look. You don't hide yourself from someone because you're hostile or not hostile. You hide yourself from someone because you have some ulterior motive, something that you want to accomplish. When we go out and hunt, we got 2 kinds of hunters in this world. You got the ambush hunters and you got the stalking hunters. Ambush hunters set up a blind in a tree on the ground, and they sit in there and they eat bologna sandwiches until something comes by and they shoot it. Ambush hunter. Stalking hunters will actually go out and find an animal, find a track, and try to track the animal down, walk up to it, and then shoot it. So they constantly conceal themselves from the environment for that specific reason. So if they have good intentions, why are they hiding themselves? Ask yourself that. That's the really important question.
But see, I think for a lot of this is about trying to make itself right. He has specific theories, like later on in one of them, you'll hear him talking about his theory that they all come over. So before we put this forward, so he believes that that the aliens come from another dimension, and every so often when they cross the dimension, their ship screws up and breaks it up. And then he also believes that we've had the ability to shoot them down We've shot down like 70 of them. We've had picked up like 80 in the crash. That's like 150 UFOs. You don't think the people who own these UFOs might not come looking for them? Or might not have been just a little tad bit upset you've been shooting at their UFOs? I don't care what kind of technology we got. They're still far more advanced than we are. I don't even know why we'd take that chance. And that smells like more.
Yeah.
You know what? But anyway, let him go.
Hang on a second. We got a question over here. U.S. Army vet wants to know if there's any truth to the supposed MiGs in Cuba that were shot down in the 70s by UFOs. I don't know specifically about that, but there is one over Kazakhstan, which at one point was a part of Russia. And one of their MiG-21s, I believe, MiG-19 and MiG-21 was shot out of the sky by a UFO at the same time that the MiG shot a missile at that UFO, and both came down. And that's kind of one of the things that they consider as Russia's Roswell. But in Cuba, I'm not positive on that one. I don't know.
I did hear something about Cuba, but I don't. It's been so long now. I hate to quote on
it. There's a lot of stories out there we don't all know, but it's possible.
And there's more and more coming forward every day, so which is kind of nice. But anyway, let's see. Put him going again.
Peaceful, highly organized, socially evolved, psychologically and emotionally evolved civilizations.
Then why are they hiding?
One other point: common sense. If you possess those sort of weapons and you're still of the consciousness,
pause that for a second.
You're going to.
How can he prove to me and you that these aliens have common sense? Half of the population of the planet doesn't have common sense. So how can we associate that with an alien creature?
I mean, obviously they ain't common sense if they keep flying through a hole and hitting the ground and dying.
I mean,
he's contradicting himself right there. See, that's another thing, people, because there's several different ones that you can hear. He talks about Gresh is actually talking about this in front of Congress, and
David Gresh.
Yeah, and Greer is the one that prepped him. So he's talking about how they come through the dimensions and they crash. And Greer talks about that because Greer's theory is they all come from a different dimension.
What kind of doctor is Dr. Greer anyway?
Just a medical doctor. As far as I know, he left. He was a medical doctor at New York General. You'd have to find out why he left. People say it was
medical practice. I don't think he has a license to practice medicine. But just because you have a doctor in front of your name does not mean you know particle science or physics. So I'm not real certain that he's.
No, he's got a big ass ego. I'll tell you that. I've met him a couple times. He's got a pretty big ego. And speaking from the source, I got a pretty big ego too, but mine's more controlled than his is. Yeah. It's well, I mean, guys, I mean, he's making a lot of assumptions here based on what someone maybe something told him. We do everything by research, so it's a little different for us. It's like the blood type study and all the different studies we run. They're all research based. They're not hearsay or this said or that said. They're all comparison studies. I don't know what he's going by. He's going by a spook and the government told him something. And the guy, Koresh, is a spook, and you believe in anything coming out of his mouth. My first question was, why wasn't he being polygraphed?
Yeah.
All witnesses to this Congress should be being polygraphed. It's that simple. And if you don't want to be taking a polygraph, then obviously you're lying. I bet you Greer won't take a polygraph. I know I asked him about voice stress before, and he was like, no. Of course, that was like 10 years ago, but it might have been longer than that. No, Randy, we're gonna play some more of it. Yeah, we're gonna play some more of it. This was on 623. This was at one of the conferences. Yeah,
blow yourself up.
June 12th,
or some nearby planet with you, because we're not talking about. Let's forget science fiction. You're not talking about boom boom with a laser beam, right, or a kinetic missile, or even a thermonuclear missile. You're talking being able to affect the fabric of space time, and then if those technologies are weaponized, it's over in a fraction of a second. So the proof, I said to one senior military guy, that they are not hostile is that you and I are still breathing the free air of Earth. If you know what we've been doing, it's quite clear that this is actually proof that they're not hostile. If you
it doesn't mean they're not hostile.
And if you understand what covert,
just because you hide your intentions, does that mean you're not hostile?
Well, no, like I said, you always judge anything by its actions. And if you judge any of the aliens by their actions, they would not be considered friendly. They're
stalking this planet for some reason. They're in the background for some reason. They don't want to come out.
They've been here for a long time, screwing around in our society for a long time, abducting our citizens. That is not considered a non-hostile species. Now, granted, I don't think they're here to wipe us out or kill us or eat us, but I don't think they're all friendly, peace, love, and light either with us. I think most of the three major ones, the Greys, reptilians, and humans, think of us at best as pets
or a nuisance. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. Well, they get used to us, and they build relationships with families and shit over periods. But still, they're not. They're here long term. They have a long term goal, and I'm not sure it's us. A lot of their agenda seems to make me feel like it's something. It's a long game, whatever it is. It's not a short game. This is going to be a couple million years at least. I don't know, Jeremy, but it scares me sometimes because they move around our planet without effort. No one can seem to bother them. Well, except for Greer's people, they can shoot them down and watch them crash as they come through the portal. Really? I mean, come on. So let's look at this from a different point of view. I own an aerospace company. Okay, I'm Elon Musk. I'm flying through this portal. First ship disappears, second ship, third ship, fourth ship. So all of a sudden, I got some that make it. Some of them come back to him. Oh no, we're blowing up when we get on the other side. So after ship 100, I would probably quit. Now, if I found that I was going through and somebody was shooting me down, I would go out of my way to blow their happy asses up for killing my citizens. So I don't know where Greer and see, and if you listen to this and listen to some of his other stuff, you will notice he contradicts himself a lot. Well, because he's trying to prove 2 points that are they're opposite to each other. I don't. It's what I'll look and see. What do you mean on his account? Let me go see. I'm on his account. Let's see what they got. It's just now somebody sent me one the other day where he said he's untouchable now and his guys and allies will keep him safe no matter what. I mean, it sounds like he's kind of going over the edge, man. It was kind of making me a little nervous when I listened to it. I was like, damn, boy, you really believe in your own stuff. Well, when you start to believe your own press, and what I mean by that, people always get confused when I say your own press. Your own press is what you believe your press is. Not what people are saying about you, but what you personally believe your press is, because it's usually not correct. So when you start believing that, that's when you tend to have the problems. Yes. Wait, what? I don't know. Let's see. We'll just click one and see what happens.
Consciousness, this faculty of being sentient, awake, is not
See how he
limited
talks
to our
down to you?
brainwaves or our bodies, but in fact transcends the limits of space-time. It's an unbounded field of awareness.
I love you, Greer, but that's not what we're after. So let's go look around here. Let's see.
This is a massive undertaking, my friends, but I'm convinced we can do it, but we have to completely rethink how we live, how we act, and the whole business model of what we're doing. And if we do that, here's the world we're going to have. We will be remembered as the generation that pulled ourselves off the extinction line of the hoop.
Oh, man. He just knows everything, man. I'm impressed. Let's see what this is. No, we're getting ready.
I'd like to thank all of you for coming from all over the United States, it turns out, for this. I'm Dr. Stephen Greer, and I'm the director of the Disclosure Project and CSETI and SeriousDisclosure.com and the Orion Project. These projects I'll explain very briefly in a moment. The purpose of this seminar today is really to go in depth and share things I have not shared publicly about how disclosure has happened, because it has happened and is happening, and what the process was that led up to that. But I really first want to thank you guys for coming here and having the interest, because it's the public that has actually made disclosure happen from the beginning. Although it was requested by some folks at the CIA, which we'll get into, it's the public that's really enabled it, including all the now 550 top secret military and corporate witnesses that have come forward. Now, I want to state that at this point, the number.
What is your go-to fact or story?
Yeah, stop for a minute. 550 corporate and government witnesses. Well, that tells you right there somebody's full of shit. Remember, see, stuff on UFOs and extraterrestrials is compartmentalized. I doubt 550 people even knew it existed. I doubt today 550 people know exist.
I'll bet if you count up all the witnesses and subsequent, generations of witnesses, family witnesses, you probably have about 250, 300 different witnesses just for Roswell alone, but most of them are dead now.
Yeah, but you got to figure out if they're telling. See, that's the other problem. When you talk about all this stuff, you can't just assume people are telling you the truth, because there's a lot. You'd be surprised how many people want to fake stuff and how many people just want to lie outright. When we first got into this 40 years ago, I often wondered, I said, well, people are not going to just say this, because it makes them sound crazy. But the more we research it and the more, I finally learned how to do voice stress analysis. We started realizing how many people actually were not telling the truth. And in all fairness to some of these people, about 1/3 of these people, it's not that they were lying. They had just taken this alien abduction and overlaid this over another event that happened in their lives. Something just as horrible or even more horrible. They just decided to forget that event and lay the alien abduction. So the only thing you can do when that happens for any of us is simply just to refer them to a psychologist. That's all you can do, because we're all just doing hypnosis, not psychology. So, and you'd be surprised how many people that is. And then you'd be surprised about another 1/3 just want to try to lie outright. I think half of those 1/3 want to just see if they can beat you. But then you've got the 1/3 that are all legit. And that's a lot of people. And in today's population, since Alfred Weber loved to get us in trouble about this. So if you talk to all the alien abduction researchers on the planet, we all agree on one thing: 10 to 15% of the population is being taken. No one ever put that into a hard number until Alfred Weber did it live on a radio show about 14 years ago. And as soon as he did it, it went viral. I mean, it went viral. The Australian Science magazine did a whole cover article on me about this. Oh yes, this was insanity. Telling us why it couldn't happen, why aliens weren't real. It's a really good article. Actually, my rebuttal was better, but still. And they posted my rebuttal, by the way. But it was just insane. So today there's 8 billion people on the planet. So 10% of 8 billion is what? 800 million. So if you add another 5, it's 800 million. 8 billion.
Billion.
No, 8 billion.
8 billion is 8, yeah. Well, it's 100 million to make a billion.
Yeah, 100 billion to make a billion. So it would be 800 million, right? Not because it would be 800 million, not 8 million. 8 million would be off 100 million. It was confusing me, Jay. Don't be doing that. But anyway, the real number comes out to be as 1.2 billion. It's out of the 8 billion people on the planet. Supposedly, 1.2 billion of these people have been taken or are being taken at any given time or chance. That's a big thing, man. So for me, I figure it doesn't even work like that way. I figure that they know pretty early on who's going to be being taken long period, who's not. So probably half of that number just gets washed out in the first, by the time you get through the pre-puberty stuff, post-puberty stuff, you either made it or you're not. And about half of the people right there are gone. So that's 600 million to the wayside. And then the other ones are just being done with whatever they happen to be being useful for, whatever programs they're in for whatever reasons. Because there's not like one agenda here. There is several agendas running. And there's 3 different races abducted on a daily basis. And I mean, on a serious daily basis. And they're running different agendas. And each agenda is requiring a different type of abduction. So I don't know where it leads them, but I do know that at least 2 of the races have these big, huge monster ships parked out. One's supposed to be parked by the sun. The other 2 are supposed to be parked out past Jupiter. But they're supposed to be bigger than our moon. And there's multiple races that live there. Actually, they say there's a black-eyed people race there, I guess. A lot of people, we call them the black-eyed kids here, the black-eyed people here. They seem to live on this ship. They seem to be about the same technologically advanced and the same sociologically advanced as we are. When you hear contactees talk about them, and every now and then they're allowed to come on an abduction, just like humans are allowed to go on another world. But there's just so much of this information now. It's just so much of it. It's hard to keep up with it all because when you research, like Travis Walton. So Travis Walton sounded like a pretty cut and dry case, and then we found out, oh wait, there was a CIA guy on the mountain that night. Well, what the hell was he doing there? And why was he there? I mean, this is a mountain in the middle of nowhere. Why would he be there? So you got to wonder right off the bat. And then we found out that it wasn't aliens and see, this is a handoff case. And Travis Walton didn't even know that. So the aliens picked Travis up, but they handed him off to a CDC team, just like the Hills were handed off to. They were handed off to a CDC team. They checked him out because I asked him point blank on the air. I said, well, look, I said, tell me what they were wearing. And I said, were they telepathic or did they speak? He said, oh no, they spoke, and they spoke really good English. And he said, and it looked like, and when he described the outfit, it sounded standard C2C equipment for one contaminated area. So then we knew. So then we knew the aliens had gotten him, and we knew the aliens had handed him off to the government. So the government was fully functionally aware what had happened to him. We knew there was a CIA, but the more you got into this, the more you found, and the more he didn't want to know. He had kind of settled into what he had settled into. He didn't really. And I told him when he was doing a show with me, I said, it won't be a show like you've used to doing before. I said, because we really do our homework, and we're not going to ask you questions you've been asked 50 million times. And we didn't. That's how you do an interview, people. Yes. I like Travis. I ain't got nothing against Travis. No, he got mad. I didn't get mad. Travis got mad because if you watch Fire in the Sky, it's only half correct. You have to read the book to know what really went on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can ask Travis and you can go look it up on his website and all, but yeah, no. Let's just say there was some liberties taken in the movie. How's that?
Mm-hmm. Like the fact that he was not dropped off at a gas station buck naked
all over the United States.
Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to turn that on, yeah. It's yeah, I know. There was just so much stuff that the movie they needed. I understood that they needed to buff the movie. I mean, I really do. I know you've got to get get your money out of the movie. I really do. And but he was really, maybe this is it.
Went on that a sitting CIA director. This is why it's a new world, because it's the power to the people. What do I mean by this?
I don't care. I wanted to hear this one, not that one, and I want it on pause first.
Went on that a sitting CIA director.
Oh,
this is a mess.
You can't even touch anything on this computer.
Went on that a sitting CIA director.
Sorry, guys, my computer's really touchy today. Well, there's a lot of stuff goes on that we're never going to hear about. And there's a lot of stuff that people want to make up and then push it as their own. I mean, I've been in the field a long time. I have seen a lot of lies portrayed in this field, a lot. And I've seen people take a lie, knowing it's a lie, and run with it and turn it into something big. I know at least 5 big stories. I'm not going to say what they are because I don't want to cause a disaster. There are 5 major stories out in the field today that are all lies that people quote on a regular basis, and they're all lies. I can prove they're all lies too. That's the sad part. When the research team that was working with me, actually they busted them, not me. I was like, you're shitting me. And then we really got deep into it. We found out that's exactly what it was a lie, which was a lie, which was a lie. And these are big names, by the way, pushing this stuff. Yes. One of which has passed away now, but still. Well, it's like all the stuff from Roswell. So every day now I hear something new from Roswell. Everybody's dead. Who?
Almost everybody from Roswell is dead. They should be at least.
But yeah. I mean, everybody who's any consequence in the original bunch are all dead.
Well, maybe
except for what's his name?
Maybe the little kid who was alive, who was on the
ranch. What's his name?
Frazzle.
Yeah,
he's probably still alive, but most of the others are gone.
Yeah, people, it's just sad. But I mean, you hear all this new information about it, and you're like, really? Oh, where'd this come from?
Both Jesse Marcells are finally passed. I mean, the father who was at the debris site, and then he showed his son the debris that later that morning.
Yeah, Junior was a
Marcel
nice guy.
Jr. He's passed away as well.
Yeah, I met him a couple of times. He was a nice guy, actually.
Yeah.
Well, he was from Houma, which is not far from where I live. Yeah, he's a good old Southern boy. He's also a helicopter pilot, medevac. Yeah, medevac's got dangerous jobs because they don't have no guns.
Yeah.
That's supposed to keep him from getting shot at. That don't always work that way, though.
Yeah, you put a big white cross on something, it's a perfect target, you know. Just
Or a big red one. Either way, man. Big ass target. Jimmy. Well, you know, Greer says all this stuff, but he never tells you where he gets it from. You heard him at least 5 times at that time. Oh, this general or that guy or this guy or that guy or this guy. He never tells you who they are. Well, no, some stuff when I can tell you where I got it from, and some stuff I can't, but you know, I'm upfront about it. It's not like I don't. It's not like a bait and hook kind of deal. I always tell people up front, you know, look, we're going to be talking about this, and these stories we can verify. These we can't. A lot of times they'll be in the description, yeah, because there's no reason to lie to people. Well, because one, he does this for a living. Remember, this is his career. Oh, yes. Let's not ever forget that. People want to forget that. But this is Dr. Greer's career. So this is where he makes his livelihood from. Yes. As far as I know, he's not a doctor anymore.
Yeah, no, he's doing the tour talk at a grand talk or something like that, you know.
Oh, he's getting more than that.
Commencement ceremonies for high school graduations.
Yeah. Well, he gets usually around $5,000 an interview. If you want to go out and do a spiritual retreat, it was $3,600. Somebody told me it went up to $5,600. So he takes 12 people on a spiritual retreat. They're supposed to do that every 2 months. Yeah, well, what is that? $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a shot. Yeah, I know. He does a lot of things. He doesn't do anything from free that I know of.
I don't think he's gainfully employed. I think he's making money off the talk show circuit.
Yeah, well, he definitely makes his money off of ufology. That's where he gets his money from. He's good at it, though. I mean, you know. Yeah, and he gets donations and stuff. He's got these other organizations. For every organization, he takes donations for every one of them. And the more you're out there, the more you're speaking, the more money you're making. Well, my problem is he's never offered to take a polygraph. I'd like to ask him what his goals are. I've heard him 4 different times say, we need to look at this like a business. Really? It's aliens. Anyway, let's see what this one is right here.
Doesn't know anything about the most top secret CIA project. Illegal, outrageous, unconstitutional, criminal. And when I found this out, now remember, this is 22 years ago almost, it was a shock to me. Because I was raised like most people. I thought, you know, well, there's a president, there are all these spooks, and there's a chain of command, and it operates. I didn't know about unacknowledged special access projects. I certainly could not have imagined that the man who puts together the presidential daily briefing would be kept secret on stuff that I had collected unbelievable amounts of evidence for the existence of UFOs, extraterrestrial intelligence, et cetera, and so on. But that was the case. And when I met with this man for nearly 3 hours, it became quite clear to me that it was not a prevarication. I really thought that he was saying that just as a way of blowing me off, or, you know, not blowing me off, but sort of saying, you know, I want to meet with you to find out what you know, but I actually do know. And I'm going to pretend like I don't know. No, this man, and my wife can attest to this, was shaken to his foundation. The cover story for the meeting was a dinner party in the D.C. area, which is typical. The wives were invited as cover. Terrible thing to say, but it's true. So my wife was there. I was there.
Why were you invited?
His wife, who's Chief Operating Officer of the National Academy of Sciences, was there, and my host, John Peterson, and his wife. Interestingly, she didn't know who was coming to dinner until that afternoon. He wouldn't tell her. And then she finds out like 2 hours before we appear, there's this UFO expert and the CIA director and his wife coming for dinner. Can you imagine being that wife? That was I'm sure that night was an interesting conversation after we all left. But that's how these things are done. The real tragedy of it, though, is that if you have a breakdown in government this severe, those of you who are students of governance, where you can have a CIA director or senior members of the military who are being left out of something very important and which hundreds of billions of dollars per year are going into, then you have no government. So the deep national security state from 19...
Oh, did I kick you off again? Damn, Greer. I'm sorry, it's put me night-night, guys. I couldn't take it. Well, I mean, first off, he's full of shit. That's not how things are done. They're not going to allow the CIA director to go to some party where anybody sitting across the street with a scanner can listen to everything he's saying. That's just the most crappiest shit I've ever heard. People. So a friend of ours used to work with the organization a long time ago. He used to go by the nick as the Orb Man because he could always get orbs appear and do weird shit. So he was a lawyer. He had a good bit of money. So he took his all office, one of his conference rooms, and he put these little devices in all of the plugs and outlets and switches that made this ambient noise so you couldn't record it. On top of that, he soundproofed the whole damn thing. And then he put cameras always watching the outside. So we'd have regular meetings there because we, with abductees, so we knew people couldn't hear. At least a dozen times I look out the window, there's a guy sitting across the street with the scanner trying to listen to this. Twice I walked over there and said, "Excuse me, you having a good time? Can't hear anything, can you?" And then they would just drive off. What they were trying to hear. But that's the point. You're in D.C. You really think the head of the CIA is moving around and nobody knows where he's at? Really? You can bet your ass that the whole Chinese and Russian government was out there listening. That's how you know this is a load of crap. Because this would have never happened that way. But anyway, take it for what it is, people. Well, I've been doing this a long time myself.
When they do any kind of disclosure like that for a cabinet member, that's usually they take them up to Camp David up here in Upper Maryland.
Yeah, there's a couple of places there's a couple of places they can go. There's some secured rooms. There's a couple of places that you can go have this conversation in a secure environment where nothing can be heard, only from the inside of the room. But going to somebody's house to discuss something that's top secret with the head of the CIA, which I'm having a hard time even got the meeting, but still in an open forum in somebody's house where everybody can hear. I'm sorry, dude. I'm just not buying it.
The host was John Podesta?
I think that's what he said. I'm not sure.
Yeah, plus didn't he say that the host was John Podesta? Yeah.
So, well, but that just tells you a lot of these stories he just makes up as he goes along. Well, I've never heard anybody ever back him up. I've never heard the CIA director go, "Yeah, I met him at such and such a dinner party." Have you heard that anywhere? No. If you knew that, why don't he get the guy to come out, sign on a book or something, say, "Hey, I'm such and such." And no, I think he knew Podesta, but I don't think that's what actually happened. Because I can't see the head of the CIA going anywhere that the Russians or Chinese or South Koreans or anybody, North Koreans or anybody could listen to him at. And going to an unsecure home, which is what most politicians' homes are, it's hard to believe that you would do that and take that kind of chance. It's hard to believe you'd even take the CIA director there. Not without some kind of entourage. Just saying, people. Take it for what you want to.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best way to think about this stuff is logical and the way things really are in the world, and not just because something. Yeah, well, it depends. Well, look, he's gotten what has he gotten here? 7,000 to 10,000 people on most of these. He's making money on TikTok too. Yeah, that's how you do it. You just monetize everywhere. It's not that I'm against making the money if you're really contributing something good to the field and making money, and that's your livelihood. Hey, that's the way it goes. He's got 102,000 likes. He's following 6 people, and 40,000 people are following him. Damn, I thought he would have more followers than that. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, 40,000.
I was kind of surprised. I thought he'd have more than that. What, DeSantis? No, we're not talking about DeSantis. No, that's not going to happen. I know y'all love y'all some Ron DeSantis, but that's not going to happen. What do you mean? What's my most famous TikTok? I don't do TikTok video. My dogs do, but I don't. There might be some pictures of me up there and stuff, but I don't really do TikTok. I should. People ask me all the time to come on and talk about different things. I just don't seem to have it in my time frame. Here, let's see if y'all can see this. What the hell is that?
Just the page you just had up.
That's a mute. Well, I was just trying to put this page up, but it won't let me put it up. So let me try it again. Stop screen. Present screen. Share screen. There you go. There we go. This is the alien hunter. That's the alien hunter, people. Whoops. Now, why is my screen doing all this crazy stuff? Okay, let's get rid of this. Yeah, see? Y'all recognize that face? Look at that lovely face, man. Yes, that's me, people. That's me still in boot camp there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that little thing on there is a reserve thing, that little pin. That's the only pin I had. And I was still in boot camp. I know. Somebody said, can you prove you served? There you go. There you go, my friend. I don't know what else to tell you. I know, ladies. I look good in them Cracker Jacks. Huh? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You gotta see when I stand up with them 13 buttons strapped on. Holy crap. I don't know how people even breathe in that stuff. No, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, that's right out of boot camp. I just happened to see the picture. It's in my feed. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's Jay trying to escape.
Oh, look at that little kitty cat.
Yeah. Oh, trouble in the boat. They keep that back. That's UFO stuff there. This is a picture that one of our hosts got. I can't. There's no way to blow it up. Not from here. I can't. It's oh, look at that rat. How can y'all love rats like that? Now, there's a lot of actual UFO pictures on, a lot of videos on here. Yeah, a lot of videos of other stuff too. That is my dog becoming the Jedi. See, there she is. She's a Jedi. You don't like that lightsaber? What do you mean it's a cool lightsaber? Bzzz. Yeah. I got that at, oh, there y'all go here. See? Look, I don't even live up north, and look at that. Look at that shit. Look at that ice, man. That's serious ice. Mm-hmm. It is Bobby, right? You know what that's from? I put the hose out spraying through the air at night. I just let it kind of mist. It just freeze out. I love these.
I was about to say, it looked like Mr. Freeze had come through and just freeze gunned your tree.
So this, I post about 50 of these a year. These are roadblocks done right across. You can't see right now. There's a bayou right down below me, right there where I live. And then there's a highway on the other side of the bayou. And the cops, they roadblock like a son of a bitch there. I know it's ain't got nothing to do with UFOs, but it just aggravates me to see it. That's in post-Christian Mississippi, people. So beware on the holidays or any weekend night, stay away from that. That's a cool-ass shot of the sun in the daytime. Yeah, I know. I do a lot of photography up, and that's
Chihuahua.
That's an evil one. Oh, you see she's wearing her little thing back there, her little tutu.
Little tutu.
That's when you know daddy's bored. These okay, I haven't posted it yet, but I'm gonna post one from last night. They had helicopters just ringing my house last night, flying over the middle of them for a good hour. Well, You always know when we're going to war if you live here, because we live by Eglin Air Force Base and the CB base in NASA. And anytime we're going to war, all of a sudden you will see just tons of activity all over the place. I mean, it gets crazy. That's crepe myrtles. Oh, look at that sunset. Yeah. Oh, that's an evil thing. I'm looking for some UFO pictures, but I guess they're not in here. Yeah, see, that's another one just coming over the house. They just come hovering over the house. It's gotten to be a thing. Oh, that's a face. Oh, and this TikTok wouldn't let me play. This is just a typical drive to work in the deep south. You see how he can't see out the freaking windows. I had this on recording and I was talking and TikTok said, nope. So we're not going to let you do it. I guess they thought I was going to get hurt or something. Okay, there you go. There's my backyard. Look, there y'all guys go. Beautiful sunset. There's the bayou right there. Gorgeous sunset going across right there. Yeah. Cooking backyard. We were getting rid of all of that. Let's get that out of there. My favorite UFO case. My favorite alien abduction. My favorite UFO case. I don't. Maybe Mexico City. Not Roswell, no. You know what? Shag Harbor was good. Shag Harbor was a good case. The one in Pennsylvania, I'm not sure if that wasn't Russian. Yeah, I've got mixed reviews on that.
Kecksburg, it could have been either a Russian satellite or a Russian lunar lander that went haywire on a test pre-60s. Was because Kecksburg was what, 59?
Yeah. Alexa,
59,
when was the
60?
Kecksburg UFO case?
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Oh, well, she's a dumbass. Oh, I'm sorry, people. That's
Hang on, let's see if Google knows. Hey, Google, what year was the Pennsylvania UFO Kecksburg incident?
I don't understand.
Yeah,
neither one. They're both being ignorant tonight. Where's Siri? And I'm asking Siri. Siri's always ignorant. No, I'm serious. People's ignorance. She's always ignorant. Let's see. Oh, wait, here we go. This might have been the one I was looking for. Let's see if this is it. Okay, this might be one. This ain't the one I'm looking for, but we'll play this one too. So, where is presets? Share my screen, Dr. Stephen Greer. And I'm about to remember to take this off of YouTube tonight.
That this information that he had, which allowed for a car to run out of the ambient energy, was in documents confiscated by the FBI. And I have a Department of Defense document demanding that the FBI turn these over to the DOD. The FBI refused. At any rate,
last I heard, Stan Romanek was in jail.
The laws of the universe are in fact
good,
and they can be discovered here or around Alpha Centauri or any place else in the cosmos. By 1928 and 29,
that's true,
T. Townsend Brown, as well as the Koloski-Frost experiment in physics in Germany, had determined that VHV, very high voltage systems done in a certain resonant field, could result in so-called electromagnetic-gravitic effect, the lifter effect that has been described, which you see in
part
UFOs.
2. I want part 1.
They also can create what's called a space-time bubble around an object, so that you can correct for 1G.
This congressman's about to fall asleep.
At multiple,
1965 was the Kecksburg incident.
Dynamic physics would describe, and can make right-hand turns without killing the occupants. Around this same time, there was, in the 1940s and the late 1930s, a number of UFO sightings. This included the so-called
Put the polygraph on it.
Yes, it's a famous rock group. However, the Foo Fighters took their name from the reports of these objects seen in the theater of World War II that were flying around our aircraft. We thought it was a secret weapon of the Nazis. The Nazis thought it was a secret weapon of ours. There was Jimmy Doolittle, the famous general. His nephew is a dear friend of mine, and he has testified that General Doolittle was sent by FDR over to the European theater in World War II investigated the Foo Fighters and came back and told Roosevelt, and I quote, "They are interplanetary vehicles." So by then, there began a classified program, and which was augmented further by events, as mentioned, in 1941, and then, of course, the famous Roswell event. Those events led to, as Philip Corso describes, a reverse engineering program. As you all know from the famous Wilbur Smith document of 1951 from Canada, it talks about that flying saucers exist, but there's a high-level team headed up by Dr. Vannevar Bush that is studying the, quote, modus operandi of these vehicles. These were the most brilliant scientists, Edward Teller, Oppenheimer, and others, Hermann Oberth, amongst others, who were in this team studying how extraterrestrial vehicles move. In October of 1954, a key date I want the committee to remember, we have actionable intelligence from someone who has worked in the National Security Agency and has been in the vault. All of this went deep black because they figured out at that point gravity control. So since 1954, October of that year, we have not needed rockets, jets, internal combustion engines, and surface roadways between cities. I say this with authority that this is the case. Eventually, these breakthroughs in human discovery were complemented by the study of the extraterrestrial material that were retrieved from these events. And contrary to most people's thoughts, the Roswell event was actually a downing of an extraterrestrial vehicle by an electromagnetic system that was hidden in a radar dome that was switched on. And this is in an FBI document that I can provide for the committee and is on the flash drive given to the Congress. The result ultimately was that there were transdimensional physics that began to be studied that deal with the nexus between electromagnetism, energy generation, anti-gravity, and consciousness. And we have discovered that there is a nexus and that, in fact, there are electromagnetic systems that have been developed that can interface directly with what we call coherent thought, the same way that you can interface with a system with lasers, which is coherent light, where you sync up all the wavelengths. Ultimately, these breakthroughs were
Look at these guys,
paralleled
man. They're looking
with,
at him like, dude, you're so full of
developments
shit.
in the biological sciences and the experimentation with cloning. And this began many years earlier than was reported from Dolly the sheep in Scotland. This goes a little beyond, I think, what this committee wants to look into. However, you need to understand that the technologies that we have, and we were discussing, are not theoretical. We have actionable intelligence that any committee in Congress or executive action can find regarding current operations. And I just want to go through a list of them very quickly of these facilities and corporations for which we have witnesses who can be subpoenaed by the committees of the Congress. This was developed at the request of Congressman Christopher Cox of Orange County, and with whom I met, and was later further developed for the briefing that we put together for President Obama. These facilities are the Edwards Air Force Base and subsections where at the dry lake bed where the Lockheed Skunk Works operations, Haystack Butte, China Lakes, George Air Force Base, and the closed Norton Air Force Base, where an anti-gravity device, so-called alien reproduction vehicle, for which we have the schematics, was seen by Frank Carlucci and others on our witness team. Tabletop Mountain and Blackjack Control. The aerospace facilities there are the Northrop Anthill Facility, Tejon Ranch, the McDonnell Douglas Llano Plant, Lockheed Martin Hellendale Plant, and the Phillips
this guy
Lab.
thinking about, should I have
The
this
Nellis
guy
Air
killed?
Force Facility, so-called Area 51, no one calls it that. There's S4 and S12, Pahoot Mesa, Groom Lake, and a number of sub-facilities. The most important facility is in Utah, near Provo, the Dugway Proving Grounds, all of which is underground, and the airspace above it is classified. There are no roads into this facility. The New Mexico facilities include Los Alamos National Labs with underground connectors to the so-called Dulce area where the biological work is being done, and Kirtland Air Force Base in the complex.
Okay, all of this stuff he's talking about, there is zero. When I say zero, there is zero evidence of this. Everything he just talked about came from one or two different people, both of which have been interviewed, neither of which would have taken a polygraph, and he still won't. So you have to take this in consideration.
He's not saying anything directly, controversial. I mean, Los Alamos, Alamogordo, and Sandia National Labs are all part of the Roswell incident. They're all three of those facilities are right there. And
it's like he likes to use the word actionable material.
Alamogordo. Yeah, actionable. So that he's got whatever that means. But
doesn't mean anything. But
he's talking about the Roswell incident, and that there's latest rumor is that Generals Roger Ramey and Nathan Twining set up a trap for the UFOs, and they brought some fissionable material over to White Sands and set up Alamogordo with these new targeting radars that they supposedly were going to try to use to shoot the UFOs down. And supposedly that they're saying, I mean, not the generals Twining and Ramey aren't saying that because they're dead now, but they're saying that these new radars were able to interfere with their flight systems, and they shot down 3 of them. That's just the current. You don't believe you're in a disagreement with me on that one. I'm just repeating.
Well, I don't. The only reason I disagree on it is because I know what's in space, and there's nothing that we can produce on a radar here that's not already being produced in space at much higher rates. That's the only reason. Yeah. See that, and there's one other little piece of this puzzle people don't like to talk about. But 2 different scientists said we brought a UFO back from Germany. That's the one we had at Roswell. Not something that crashed. Not something that was even picked up when it crashed. They said we crashed it. And people don't realize this, but there was 2 crash sites, not one. There was Roswell and Corona. So Roswell must have been like an escape pod, because I can't see any spaceship that would go into deep space is not going to break up on impact. It's just going to come in as one chunk. If you can take a micrometeor at close to light speed, you're not going to break up on impact. You may impact Earth, you may disintegrate, or you may just be like a lump sitting there, but it's not going to break up. And it's definitely not going to break up the way they described the debris field of the one at Mac Brazel's ranch. Now, the one in Corona was different. The one in Corona, there was a whole craft, a large craft that had impacted itself in the side of a mountain. And when the Boy Scouts walked up on it, there were 4 bodies laying next to each other that looked human, but were glowing this really weird, like they'd been contaminated with some kind of high-end radiation, almost like they were melting. So you've got the recovery bodies at Roswell, which sounds like the aliens probably ejected trying to get out the craft because humans effed it up and crashed it. But they still recovered the ship and brought it back. But you have to remember, there's no way any race of aliens, not even our own race, would we have let somebody take one of our craft and take our people and not went and got it back. We'd have been like, no, that's not going to work for us. And why would any advanced alien race want to give us any type of weaponry that could do them harm?
Well, even if it would do them harm, it would possibly be more harmful to us.
Probably so.
We'll turn it on ourselves first.
Yeah.
Before we shoot anybody else.
Well, it might not even be that. It might just be simply a byproduct of what it makes. Their bodies are different than ours, which means they're going to be able to take different kind of things. But the last report I had read on the Gray at Roswell said he went home anyway. So they said they came and got him. They came and retrieved the bodies and retrieved the Gray. And it did make sense because they would let us keep a craft. So if this was like a scout craft or something, maybe a shuttlecraft or something like that, I could see something like that being brought down. I can't see any like fighter one type or any space type craft that we'd have any way of. I don't think a nuke would bring them down. They're flying through either gates or portals or something. So whatever it is, their hulls have got to be pretty intense. So and they're not scared of our nukes.
And they might survive being near a nuclear explosion. They might survive the sonic blast, the heat blast, the concussive blast, but and they might even survive the radar. But if they're directly at ground zero when it goes off, I'm sure that explosion it will destroy their vehicle.
So at Bikini Atoll, there's 2 pictures. One of the UFO coming into the nuclear blast and coming out the other side. I think they did it on purpose just to show them. And there's another one where it's sitting over I forgot what carrier it was when it was detonated, and you can actually see it blimp over the thing, and then as it rolls back in, you can see it as it moves off to the side. And let's not forget, they've come out of volcanoes while the volcano was erupting.
They've gone into volcanoes while they're erupting,
which is equivalent to a nuke. So I'm not really thinking. See, people have to take this in consideration. There's no way to travel in deep space at the speeds needed to get around without a ship that can withstand anything on this planet. There's nothing on this planet that should be able to damage them in any shape, form, or fashion. We don't have the kind of energy it would take to penetrate a hull like that. We just, according to so Pine Gap and Hart Facility were designed to build this. It's basically a giant laser, and they use it right now. They're using it to punch holes in the ionosphere, but they can target it. Remember, Pine Gap was designed for the defense of outer space. It's actually its mandate is to defend anything from outer space, and outer space means beyond the moon. So really it means beyond the solar system, but they're talking about this. This has been here a long time, which Reagan put all this in place because Reagan knew something the rest of us didn't know. Reagan didn't think the aliens were friendly because he instituted 4 programs that would suggest otherwise.
Yeah.
And he's got on TV and talked about what happened during an alien invasion 7 times. So I don't know. I think he would know more than Greer.
Yeah, and if anyone's seen the STS-48 space shuttle mission, what you're seeing in that is that laser beam is what's being shot up from Pine Gap into that. The Pine Gap's in Australia.
Yep. And it didn't even get close to the damn thing. Look, this is the UFO. Here's a laser. The UFO's sitting there. It's playing with it. The lasers coming, lasers coming, lasers coming. Psh. It wasn't. It didn't even have a shot. There was not even a chance it was going to get close to it. And we've had hundreds of pilots now testify that we can't get close with no missiles, no jets, no bullets can get close to them. Bullets travel at Mach 6. They can't even catch up with them. Missiles can travel fast. Well, only the hypersonic missiles can travel faster than Mach 6, but they're not going to catch them. There's nothing here that's going to be able to shoot one down or catch one. That has always been human arrogance, is what that's been. We need to feel like we can take them down a notch. We need that so that we can know that we're not going to die or be eaten or wiped out. But right now, currently, if the Greys, reptilians, or humans wanted to take this planet, it would not be a big deal. And they wouldn't even use weapons. They'd probably use a virus. So y'all don't even take that in consideration that they could put a genetic virus out there or a virus man and nanites and kill all of us in a day or 2 days.
They might not even need that. With their technology, they may be able to just focus a particular alpha wave at the planet and make everyone go to sleep with just a simple, we can do it. We can make people go to sleep with certain kinds of sounds and alpha waves and whatnot that when you are asleep. So
the point being, people, is if they want us dead, we're dead. That's really what it comes down to. So we know that that's not their agenda, but we also know that their agenda is not here to enlighten us or to help us because they've been here a long time and we're not very enlightened.
According to Sitchin, they've been here 450,000 years. Other people report they may have been here since before the dinosaurs, that they've been terraforming this planet since before then. Who knows? And the
reptilians, they say we're here during the dinosaur era, and they thought they had predicted that the planet was going to be hit. So some went underground and some left. But it's weird because they had a gentleman I was talking to just a long time ago, and he was telling me, he said, Jay, did you ever stop to think that all the races we talk about are from this solar system? I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, think about it for a minute. He said, the Greys could have easily been from Mars. Their body would have been designed for that. He said the humans could have been from Venus. The reptilians could have been from here. And when the system got wiped out, or he said, or somebody could have been from the middle planet, maybe that's where the humans were from, the 5G planet, because they're bigger than we were, the one that was in between Mars and Jupiter. So whatever it was, something happened. And you have 4 planets that were impacted. You have the planet between Mars and Jupiter, which is no longer there. But by the way, I had somebody write to me the other day. They go, oh, Joe, that was an unformed planet. They don't think that anymore because some of the stuff they found can only be created under compression of a mass compression, like the size
under like the compression of an accretion disk. So whatever was there, it became a planet, and then something threw it off its axis, and it broke up. And allegedly, according to Velikovsky, part of it smashed into Earth. tilting the Earth's axis and dropping a big chunk of metal into the center core of our planet.
And something crashed into Venus and something crashed into Mars all around the same time. We know Mars died between 55 and 67 million years ago. Same time Earth between 59 and 64 million years ago. They don't know about Venus, but they're pretty sure that's when it went too. So, and then don't forget, Mars probably didn't have moons until this planet blew up. And gave it two of the asteroids, because they're asteroids, they're not actually moons. And the Venus has no moon.
And then there's the other weird anomaly is Venus. All the planets
it goes
in
backwards.
This solar system counterclockwise. Every planet counterclockwise. Venus rotates clockwise. The only other exception to that rule is one of the moons of Uranus. It still rotates clockwise, but instead of rotating up and down like this, it's been knocked over on its side and it's going around the planet that way. But other than that, every body in this solar system rotates in a counterclockwise direction except for Venus, which indicates that it did not form in the inner solar system of this planet system. It came from somewhere else.
Yeah.
If it formed in this solar system, it'd be rotating the same way as everybody else.
Well, remember too, a lot of people seem to think that Earth was deposited here from the Sagittarius galaxy. So right now, the Milky Way is eating the Sagittarius galaxy up, not far from where we're at in cosmic terms. And there's a big group of red giants around us that came from that galaxy, and we're right smack in the middle of them. So they don't know if we were actually here or we were part of the migration. Then there's a big argument. It's a 50-50 argument right now. 50% of them say we came from there, which would be another reason aliens would be wanting to look at us if we were from a different galaxy and came to live in their galaxy. That would be worth looking for it itself. Well, that's the whole thing about science. People, there's so much of this to keep up with. Army, I've seen it. Now, Stan, last I heard, was on permanent, was on vacation. And even if he gets out, I don't think he's going to be allowed to use the internet. Greer's an idiot. I don't know why he thinks he's a ufologist. Greer tells a lot of stories that he never backs up. He says, everybody goes, well, he did disclosure with 55 people. Yeah, with 55 people, but who were these people? They didn't have any real evidence because the government would have never allowed them to come forward. And like the Koresh guy,
real evidence, they probably would have all been assassinated before they even got anywhere near.
Well, it's like the Koresh guy that Greer brought to Congress. He's a spook, but he tells you he heard about all this stuff. He never saw any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
People, I'm sorry, but secondhand knowledge when it comes to this is bullshit. And there's so much of this. And again, Greer has an agenda. He's making money off of this. You don't take my word for it. Check him out for yourself. He's making money off all this, and quite a lot of money off all of this. I guarantee you he's making more money than 95% of the people who believe or attend any of his stuff. Oh, yeah. You don't have to take my word for it. Check it out for yourself.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Well, you know what I'll do on one of the news shows? I'll post the way he does it. But no, he does. He does a lot of lectures. He does a lot of traveling. He speaks a lot of places. And I think George Norrie gets $5,500 a lecture. So I would think Greer would get at least that. Yeah. Plus, speaking engagements and stuff like this, and compensation, and they're going to send Congress a bill, and you watch. Janine, yeah. So the asteroid belt is going to make Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos trillionaires. Mm-hmm. Probably be Elon first because he seems to have the idea how to get there. Well, there is, so that one gold asteroid they found, just that one, and there's more than one, is worth more money than everything on the planet combined. Every precious anything that's on this planet combined still does not come up to how much that asteroid is worth. Could you imagine getting your fingers on it? I know, huh? But we got to get out of here because I know the Outer Realm is coming up with, of course, the lovely ladies, Amelia Pisano and Michelle DeRocha. They'll be up, they're probably up now.
Yeah.
So but if, in the future, if y'all want to hear some more Greer stuff, send it in and we'll talk about it. And the one I wanted, because I wanted to do it on TikTok and go word for word with him, but I see TikTok's already pulled it down. So there's a lot of stuff he said in there that was, Well, y'all heard him. I mean, he talks a lot of BS stuff, and he talks a lot of spatial stuff and dimensional stuff. And if you were watching the congressman in his video, they were falling asleep.
Yeah.
And then he just started naming off base after base after base. Well, anybody can go get a map and find out what bases are where. Yes, I mean, that's not a big thing. He didn't tell you what the bases were doing. He does believe in the story of Dulcie, where the biologicals were, where the aliens are controlling, were shooting up and killing the humans.
Yeah.
He believes, he believes in all the underground tunnels running all over the United States. So that's a lot of conspiracy stuff, people. None of that's been proven. No witnesses of any consequence have ever come forward on that. And I'll tell y'all a secret. I got friends in Boeing. I got friends in Los Alamos. I got friends in a lot of other places. And they don't verify none of that. They say all those stories are bullshit. Well, like I said earlier, let me say, if you're going to go around machine gunning up a bunch of grays, you don't think they're going to not retaliate? Have y'all ever seen a gray mothership? We're not talking about them little gray saucer things. We're talking about a gray mothership. Yeah, it's plenty big enough to wipe out this planet without any real effort at all. Even their big transport ships are plenty big enough to wipe out Earth. Yeah, well, they've been seen before, and the mini motherships, I like to call them, have been seen. We never could figure this out. It took a while. We used to get these pictures of these reptile ships, reptilian shit. So I'm sorry. We used to get these pictures of these ships. They were, they were pretty long, pretty wide, but they were rectangular shaped. And we were like, what is this? And sometimes they'd have 3 bumps on the top, or 1 bump on top and 2 on bottom. And everybody was like, what the hell? And then we realized what they were. It was landing places for the saucers. And each one could hold up to, I think, 14 saucers. So once or twice they seen them with a full load and got pictures of them. Yeah, they're big. You could fit
they're bigger than carriers.
Yeah, that's basically what they are, but they're not the motherships. These things can fit inside the motherships, and they're bigger than any group of carriers we have on the planet. They're big. They're doing their job, picking up and retrieving their ships. All of them have ships here. Well, you're talking about Charles Hall's aliens. We'll have to get in on another show because we're out of time, but that's at Area 53. Yes. There's lots of areas out there in those deserts between New Mexico and West California that have some interesting stuff in it. And as many times,
the entire central core of Nevada was cut up where Nellis is, into different various sizes and shapes of areas, and they were area number 1 through 100, 200, whatever.
Yeah,
that's where you got Area 51 and Area 52 from. These were places where they were going to test nuclear bombs and new fighter planes and new bombers and jets and airplanes and all that. So it's cut up in those areas for a specific reason, to zone it out.
But there's actually, from the Boeing facility in West, I think it's near. Well, anyway, it's in West California, all the way to Stevensville in Texas. There's actually one no-fly zone in that whole section. They overlap each other. So you can actually cruise across 4 states now with no one watching at all, unless you happen to be driving underneath, like Senator McDonald was when we met him. No, not McConnell, McDonald. And you're not going to see anything. Well, that's how we found out about the X-117s and all. They used to fly on the edges and get busted every once in a while. So we knew they weren't alien because they were flying inside the testing areas. Yeah, so we knew pretty sure they weren't alien. They were ours. I still don't see us flying any real, people tell me all the time, well, we've had flying saucers since 1920. Really? Well, we haven't flown one yet. And even if Roswell was a crash that we recovered and tried to fly, or one we got from Germany and tried to fly, it doesn't matter because it still ain't flying today. And if Bob Lazar is talking true about the sports model, we're still not flying them today. This is 2023.
We're not flying the alien versions, no, but there are some human-made constructs with I forget what they call that. But in any event, there's some human-made UFO vehicles made from reverse engineering that we are operating, and allegedly those are the ones that Bob Lazar was taking his friends to on Wednesday nights on the Freedom Hill or whatever that mountain is, where you could look before they took it over, where you could look into Area 51, and they were watching these UFO test sites every Wednesday night. So those are probably human-made versions, not the alien versions.
We've attempted a lot of different versions. We just don't have anything that can reproduce what they do yet. We got some stuff. I mean, they say the TR-3Bs can make it to Mars and back in under a couple of hours, but is that true? I mean, they were supposed to be flying there since 1979 with the Russians. We're supposed to be co-partners on that.
Mm-hmm.
And there is some evidence to it, but still there's not enough to make it a thing. You know, it's one of those things that just kind of floats on top that you got to wonder about. Well, you know, a lot of people believe there have been colonies on Mars for a long time. Oh yeah. They believed that for a long time. And a lot of people believe that the Germans made it to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess they're living inside because nobody else sees them up there.
Well, I'm sure any Germans that made it up there from World War II are probably a couple of skeletons by now.
I know, huh? Frankie G. You mean, does Greer have any credentials for this? He was a medical doctor.
Yeah, he's not a scientist, nor is he a physicist or a rocket engineer. Just a medical doctor.
What do you mean? Do I? Okay, so yeah, I actually do have some credentials in this, even though I'm more into the abduction side than the alien side, but really and truly so. Let's see, I have degrees in advanced avionics and advanced electronics, advanced aircraft recognition. Right, those three could put me in an expert category because, frankly, I know how planes fly. I know what to look like. I know pretty much everything that's in the sky that's ours. I mean, it's a little bit different than what Greer knows. I also, because of those fields with a Class 10 security clearance and Special Forces training, I'm in a much different bracket than Dr. Greer is. One, I've already been proven, tested, and tried that I won't rat my government out. That's why I have such a clearance. Yes, he doesn't have a clearance, which means he's very limited to what he can know. See, you can be told stuff. So people can tell you stuff if you have a clearance. You might not be able to repeat it to the general public, but you can repeat it to some other people. And it helps you to understand what's really going on, which allows you to take other courses to find that evidence somewhere else. But at least you now know that it exists. Greer has none of that. Greer just simply says he gets this guy or that guy. He pays. Remember, everybody at this the one in 2001 got paid. Oh yeah. Sorry, that's how it works. I'm all for the truth. That's what I'm after. You know, it's kind of split for me because we do so much abduction research. And yes, I do know voice stress analysis and hypnosis, private investigation. I got a lot of pedigrees going on here. So yeah, I'm what you call it. Even though none of this voice stress analysis, facial recognition, body language, all of that I took not because I was in ufology, because I worked for companies where I needed it to hire and fire employees. Yes, but it worked out good for me down the line. Yeah, all of it did. Hypnosis, my wife learned first, and then I learned it. Voice stress, I was taught to by a state trooper. I'm good at it too. Don't need it most of the time, but it's nice to have people on record. If Capo Green ever comes out, you'll see one of the sessions I did with Larry Warren. There are sessions I did with Peter Robbins and Larry Warren, but they were taped. They were taped sessions there. Maybe one of these I'll release those. They're somewhere in my computer, in one of my computers, on some hard drive somewhere. You know, I just gave away 7 computers. I hope there weren't on none of those hard drives. But anyway, guys and girls, we got to go. Be sure you come check out Jay on Friday night. He's the hostess with the mostest.
Co-hostess with the mostest.
Co-hostess with the mostest. No, Jeffrey Pritchard. It's Jeffrey Pritchard show. No, well, we're trying. We're looking for hosts right now. We got a new show that's coming out. It's going to be just for authors and illustrators. So that's all it's going to be about. Any author, illustrator you want. We'll do some from the L. Ron Hubbard group. We're going to do them from other groups as well. But it's just what it's going to be for. Nothing else. We'll put it on Saturday so it's got a good listening audience. I don't know who's going to host it. Yeah, I've been talking. I bugged Jay about it. I bugged Jeffrey about it. I bugged somebody else about it. Well, I need people who read or either are authors or have a knack for knowing who authors are or knowing a lot about the different subject matter that we're talking about. Yes, because there's a lot of stuff we cross. And being as Paranormal Radio Network, there's a lot of subject matter that gets crossed. Yes, there is. Well, we do politics and all of that too, but that's a whole different realm. We do it every time.
Paranormal.
And these days it is.
Isn't it?
Oh man, I'm telling you, these days it's definitely paranormal. But
Uh-huh.
again, we got to go. Y'all go check out Michelle and Amelia. Tell everybody we said hi. I'll be talking to them later in about an hour or so. On that note, good night and have a good evening. And for all our friends in Israel, we wish you the best. Actually, for
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
in the Middle East, we wish y'all the best. We hope no one else has to die. On that note, good night and see you Friday.